Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into a classic, the very beginning of George Orwell's 1984. We're looking at Part 1, Chapter 1. Our mission is to unpack how Orwell just throws you straight into this incredibly bleak world through Winston Smith's eyes, right from page 1. How does he do it so fast?
Well, this chapter, it's absolutely crucial. It's not just setting a scene. It's like laying down the entire foundation for Oceania. It establishes the party's grip, the grimness of Winston's life, and importantly, how Orwell builds that immediate sense of dread. And maybe, just maybe, the first hints of rebellion.
Okay, yeah, he definitely doesn't ease you in. Starts with, it was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. I mean, right away, something feels wrong. 13.
That's pure Orwell, isn't it? Striking 13, it's not just quirky. It's an immediate sign that the basic rules, even time itself, are warped by the party. It throws you off balance, disconnects you from normal reality. It's like a little psychological nudge saying nothing is as it seems here, even before anything really happens.
And the world itself feels broken. You get hit with this vile wind, gritty dust, the smell of boiled cabbage and old rag mats. Victory Mansion sounds awful. Plus, the power is always out, part of the economy drive for Hate Week, apparently. So Winston has to climb 7 flights with his varicose ulcer. It's just grim and decaying.
Exactly. He makes the dystopia feel real through these really unpleasant sensory details. The wind, the dust, that awful cabbage smell. They make the party's failure tangible. It reflects the sort of spiritual decay of the society. And what really stands out is how he says there's no color in anything except the posters that were plastered everywhere. So it's this drab gray world, and the only color comes from party propaganda. It shows their control extends even to, well, how things look and feel.
Right, those posters. Everywhere. The enormous face of Big Brother, over a meter wide. Those eyes that follow you about. And the caption, Big Brother is watching you. On every landing, every street corner, even right across from Winston's window. You literally can't escape it.
It's constant psychological pressure, designed to make you feel watched all the time. But the real engine of surveillance is the telescreen. He describes it as this oblong metal plaque like a dulled mirror. It pumps out information, figures about pig iron production, stuff like that. But the crucial thing, it received and transmitted simultaneously. You could turn the sound down a bit, but no way of shutting it off completely.
A two-way mirror, essentially. So any sound that Winston made above the level of a very low whisper would be picked up by it. And they could see him too. You live with this constant threat, the thought police. You just have to assume that every sound you made was overheard, and except in darkness, every movement scrutinized. It's not just being watched, it's knowing you might be watched, always. That must wear you down internally.
It's the perfect prison, really. The idea you might be seen makes you police yourself. You become your own guard, internalizing that constant gaze. That's the genius and the horror of it.
And beyond his apartment, the whole city seems designed to intimidate. His workplace, the Ministry of Truth, is this enormous pyramidal structure of glittering white concrete soaring 300 meters high. It just looms over everything.
Yeah, and that's just one of 4. These massive buildings dominate London, dwarfing everything else. They're like physical symbols of the party's total control. You've got Minitrude, the Ministry of Truth, which ironically handles propaganda, news, entertainment, all that. Minipax, Ministry of Peace, which runs the wars. Then Miniluve, Ministry of Love for law and order, the scary one. And Miniplenty, Ministry of Plenty for the economy. The names are just chillingly ironic, aren't they? Peace means war, love means torture. It's the party-twisting language itself, forcing you to accept contradictions.
Miniluve sounds especially dreadful. No windows, guards like gorillas with truncheons, barbed wire steel doors, machine guns. Its sheer look is a threat.
Oh, absolutely. It's meant to terrify. It represents the place where individuality goes to be extinguished, the ultimate destination if you step out of line. And carved on the Ministry of Truth, you have those core slogans. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength.
They're not just words, they're like commands to your brain, forcing that doublethink Orwell talks about later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see this messing with Winston's head already. He tries to remember if London was always this awful mess of rotting houses and bomb sites, but he can't really remember his childhood clearly, just bright-lit tableau with no context. It's not just bad memory, it's the party actively destroying the past to control the present. By controlling memory, they control reality.
So facing all this, Winston retreats to his little apartment alcove. He's got this hunk of dark-colored bread for later, and that awful victory gin. It smells sickly, oily, makes him react physically, but gives a brief, cheerful feeling. Even the victory cigarettes just fall apart. Everything is shoddy, grim.
It's all part of the dehumanizing process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even the small comforts are flawed, controlled by the party. Another way to grind people down.
But it's here, in this bleak little corner, that he does something huge. He decides to start a diary. He finds this beautiful old book, smooth, creamy paper, bought secretly. A really small act, but incredibly risky.
Hugely risky.
Yeah.
Because, as Orwell points out, while nothing was illegal, since there were no longer any laws, which is terrifying in itself, this diary, if found, it means death, or at least 25 years in a forced labor camp. This is thought crime. The crime isn't just the act, it's the thought behind it. The potential for independent thinking. That's what they want to stamp out.
And even the physical act of writing is tense. He uses a pen, an archaic instrument, ink. He feels a tremor just before starting. He struggles to even write the date, April 4th, 1984, but admits he's not even sure if that's right. Time itself is uncertain.
And he asks himself, why? Why do this? His answer is, for the future, for the unborn. But almost immediately, despair hits him. He sees the enormity of it. And his mind lands on doublethink, that ability to hold two contradictory ideas at once and believe both. That's how the party operates, how they make lies into truth. It's the mental gymnastics required to survive.
His first actual entry is just brutal. He writes about a war film he saw, a ship full of refugees being bombed and the audience laughing at a man trying to swim away before being shot, a child's arm flying up into the air. Horrific. But the party members applauded, while a pro-woman who protested got dragged out by police.
That entry says so much. It shows the complete desensitization the party encourages. Laughter at horror becomes a sign of loyalty. The party engineers these reactions. And that contrast between the party members and the pro-woman shows, maybe, where some basic human decency still survives, outside the party's direct control.
Then we shift from his private rebellion to this very public ritual. The 2 minutes hate. Happens every day at work, everyone gathered around the big telescreen.
Yeah, this is pure psychological manipulation on a mass scale.
Yeah.
Controlled rage. And it's here we meet Julia and O'Brien, two really key figures.
Right. Julia, the girl with the scarlet sash of the Junior Anti-Sex League. Winston instantly dislikes her, thinks she's dangerous, totally orthodox. But later, we realize his hatred is tangled up with desire he can't express. Then there's O'Brien, inner party member. Winston feels drawn to him, has this sort of gut feeling like O'Brien isn't entirely convinced that there's intelligence there.
And the hate itself is an assault. This hideous, grinding speech comes from the screen, setting your teeth on edge. The target, Emmanuel Goldstein, the enemy of the people, former party leader, now the ultimate traitor. His face, his voice, his attacks on the party, all designed to provoke pure fury.
And it works. People start screaming, jumping, throwing things. He mentions someone chucking a Newspeak dictionary at the screen. It's described as this hideous ecstasy of fear and vindictiveness, and it just sweeps everyone up. Orwell writes, it's impossible to avoid joining in. You get lost in it.
And critically, the hate is abstract, undirected. It can be switched around. Winston finds his own hatred jumping from Goldstein to Big Brother, back to Goldstein, even to Julia. The party doesn't care who you hate. As long as you are hating, it channels all that negative energy towards approved targets, preventing any real dissent.
The climax is bizarre. Goldstein's face morphs into a sheep, then an enemy soldier, finally melting into the calm, powerful face of Big Brother. Then the party slogans flash up again. It's a whole emotional roller coaster, engineered from start to finish.
And afterwards, that creepy calm, the woman murmuring, "My savior," and the whole crowd chanting, "Bee, bee, 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 bee," deep and slow. Orwell calls it an act of self-hypnosis, a deliberate grounding of consciousness, just giving yourself over to the collective. Winston feels horrified by it, this subhuman chanting, even as he's forced to participate.
But right in the middle of that chant, something happens. He catches O'Brien's eye, just for a second. But he feels an unmistakable message had passed, a shared understanding. Like O'Brien was saying, I'm with you, I know exactly how you feel.
That tiny moment is incredibly significant. In this world of total isolation, that fleeting connection gives Winston hope. It fuels his belief that maybe the brotherhood, the resistance, isn't just a myth. It's the only flicker of potential solidarity he experiences, a lifeline in that locked loneliness.
And that feeling, that brief connection, seems to unlock something. Back with his diary, he finds he's written "down with Big Brother" over and over in big letters, almost unconsciously.
Yeah, like his pent-up feelings just burst out, and then the panic hits. But also this strange sense of resignation. He realizes writing those words isn't really any more dangerous than starting the diary in the first place. He's already committed thought crime, And thought crime he knows could not be concealed forever. Arrest is inevitable, probably at night, leading to vaporization, just wiped from existence,
Yeah.
annihilated.
The chapter ends right there with his frantic last scrawl. They shoot me and I don't care. They'll shoot me in the back of the neck. I don't care. Down with the big brother. And then boom, a knock at the door. Rhythmic, terrifying. That feeling of it's over. Crushing.
It's such an abrupt, chilling end to that brief moment of defiance. Shows you the speed and certainty of the party's power. Game over, almost before it began.
Wow. So yeah, this first chapter just throws you headfirst into it all. The surveillance, the psychological control, the decay, the sheer weight of the party, all through Winston's eyes. You feel his fear, his tiny sparks of rebellion, and the constant crushing pressure.
Absolutely. It's more than just setting up a plot. It's a deep dive into what it means to be human under that kind of absolute power. It forces you to think about freedom, truth, and reality itself when every thought is potentially a crime. It lays out the stakes immediately.
So it really makes you think, doesn't it? What does it mean when the clocks strike 13 in your own life? When the eyes might always be watching, even unseen? How much of Winston's world, his anxieties about information, privacy, and truth echoes for you today?